Someone asked the prophet Micah how to serve God. What was the requirement? Someone asked the prophet. The prophet replied, do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. The member organizations of the Responsible Budget Coalition have come together because the budget crisis is not just a budget crisis. It is a moral crisis. Sometimes people wonder about the moral and ethical relationships that we bear in life. What does a sister who needs home care because she is blind? What does the relationship of women who sometimes have to flee domestic violence? What do children, preschool children, children in Head Start, what relationship do they have with me or you? We may not have children. We may not be blind. We may not experience assault. But perhaps we are home care workers. Perhaps we are teachers. Perhaps we are people who work to service people who are in need. We are related to those people because they are us. We're related to anyone, Dr. King said, anyone who is in trouble makes me be in trouble. Anyone who is in need makes me be needful. We are related, the great religions of the world, whether we be Jews or Christians or Muslims or whatever we may be. We come from a tradition that challenges us to be concerned about the most vulnerable in our society. And today, these budget cuts, the potential of even more cuts, will affect the most vulnerable citizens in our state. It is a moral and ethical responsibility to respond. These people need our help. These are our brothers and sisters. These are people who work jobs. Sometimes they get a livable income and sometimes they don't. But they care for the most vulnerable of our people. And so we have to fight to assure that they are able to keep their jobs. Home care workers, people who work in our penal institutions, those who counsel those who are seeking to rid themselves of drug addiction. All of these kinds of helpful services are in jeopardy. All of them are in jeopardy. And so you and I come here urging our leaders, urging our political leaders to set aside their difficulties with each other, to set aside the fact that one is a Republican or a Democrat, but to see that there are people who are urgently in need of help. We need a budget that is moral and ethical. We need a budget that has the kind of resources that will continue to care for the most vulnerable in our society. That is why we are here. That is why the Responsible Budget Coalition exists. We know we can do better. We know we can do better. And we have gathered here today, you and I, black and white and rich and poor and Hispanic and Asian, and we are the panoply of the human community. And we know that in order for this state of Illinois to really represent all of the people of Illinois, we must be willing to do those things in a very terrifying economic period. We must stand up together and assure that we have a budget that protects all of our people, a budget that provides for all of our people, and a budget that responds to the Micah injunction. What is required of us? What is required of the state? What is required of our political leadership? But to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God, and to be aware that all of God's children have a right to the tree of life. All of God's children have the right to a place to stay. We've got homeless people who will be more homeless. We've got people who are on the edge of homelessness. If this budget is not changed, more people, more families will be on the street. We're talking about a serious crisis, but we're talking about a crisis that can be responded to responsibly. Can we do this? Must we do this? Shall we do this? Amen.